Good Monday morning, everyone. It is 10:10 a.m., which means it is time for another episode of Instant Replay, North Georgia's only live online sports show. Thank you for joining us this morning. I'm your host, Lauren Hunter, as always, ready to talk about high school football, high school softball, high school volleyball, and even some of our youth leagues here in North Georgia sports. So stick around with us. We're going to have a great time. We always have a great time here on the show. You've got me here hosting, and then we've got Lonnie Adams back there behind the glass running computer and graphics for us, and we appreciate all that he does. And so we are ready to go ahead and jump into it. Now, I want to give everyone a heads up that as we go through some of these updates, it is officially region play. We are in week 6 of football, and then we are also getting towards the end of regular season for softball and volleyball. So I want to make that point, go ahead and say that as we're going through, I'll be giving you some updates that we have on region play and where teams are in region standings. But also, before we get into that, we always like to start off with taking it to the next level if we have one of those. And we do have that one of those today, and it is for Gabe Buchanan, who is part of the Fannin County High School baseball team, who this week committed to play at Reinhardt University. Congratulations to Gabe. We want to give you a shout out and say how proud we are of you for taking it to the next level and for committing to play in college. Exciting stuff there. You know, it's one thing to play in high school, but it's another thing to go ahead and sign and say that you're going to continue that athletic career. And college is a big deal. So definitely this is nothing small, and we want to give Gabe this shout out and say congratulations. And as Gabe gets closer to when he actually has a signing ceremony, we will definitely do our best to get a reporter over there to cover that event as well. So again, congratulations to Gabe Buchanan for committing to play Reinhardt baseball. Now we're going to go ahead and get into our regular game recaps, and we're going to start off with football and with football recaps and football updates. And as I said, it is officially region play for most of our teams here in Team FYN sports coverage. We do have a couple that have not yet gotten into region play because of bye weeks, but all but maybe one or two of these teams are officially in region play. So with that being said, we're going to kick it off with the White County Warriors. And unfortunately, the Warriors fell to the Marist War Eagles in their away region opener. The War Eagles triumphed via a final score of 35-19. And the War Eagles struck first with a 58-yard rushing touchdown, followed shortly after by another rushing touchdown to take the lead early on, 15-0. And they went for a 2-point conversion as well, and they were able to get to 15-0 early on. It took a little bit for White County to warm up, but finally quarterback J-Ben Haynes found Cooper Turner for a long pass. Then junior Seth Stonecipher got his first career rushing touchdown, so congratulations to Seth. The Warriors celebrated a big moment after Jesse Moose recovered a fumble. Unfortunately, they were held back from scoring by a tough War Eagles defense. The War Eagles scored twice again to extend their lead 32-7 before going into halftime. And Jacquez Williams recovered another fumble for the Warriors, but the ball was immediately turned back over to Marist after Haynes threw his second interception of the night. The White County team picked up speed, forcing the War Eagles to punt on their next two drives. A 17-yard pass from Haynes found Reese Dockery for a second Warriors touchdown, and Haynes rushed in for another 8-yard touchdown carry with just minutes remaining in the game. Final score 35-19 Marist. Now, on a positive note, the Warriors converted fourth downs all night. They only punted 4 times all in the fourth quarter, so they were able to put some good drives together, even though they came up a little bit short against the War Eagles. Now, looking ahead, with this game, the Warriors are 3-2 in regular season. The Warriors will travel down to play Flower Branch this Friday night before a bye week. The Falcons are undefeated so far this season at 3-0 after defeating Gainesville in a big game on Friday night by a score of 35-21. This game will be Flower Branch's first region game this season, and then obviously it will be the Warriors' second region game of the season. So also we want to say congratulations to Jesse Moose for being named this week's Team FYN Sports Writers Player of the Week for the White County Warriors. This is his second time receiving this award, but he deserved it for his multiple tackles and sacks as well as big effort throughout the entire game, even when the Warriors were behind. And then Jesse also recovered a fumble, as we mentioned earlier. So congratulations to Jesse for receiving this award. Now, in region standings, as I said, we're going to give some region updates as we go throughout the game or throughout the lineup today. The Warriors are now 0-1 in the region, but it's still early on in region play. They are ranked 4th behind Denmark, Blessed Trinity, and Marist in their region. So good luck to the Warriors as they continue their season. Of course, we're going to continue to follow them. Shout out to Carson Finley for all of the effort and hard work he is putting in with covering the Warriors this season. Carson has been doing an awesome job, and you'll definitely want to go and check out his full game article. I'm just going through some highlights, but Carson gives a very detailed game breakdown. So go and check that out. It is on our website. It is fetchyournews.com. At the top of our website, across the main homepage, you'll be able to see all of the counties that we cover. And if you click on White County and then go to their page from there and click on Team FYN Sports, you'll be able to find all of Carson's articles really easily. They are all listed under there. So Carson's doing a great job. He's doing awesome covering the White County Warriors and giving them some great coverage. They've been playing hard this season as well, having a good season over there in Cleveland, and we wish them the best of luck as they continue their season. Looking forward to how they're going to be against the Flowery Branch Falcons, and the Falcons are doing really well this season. Even though we don't cover them here at Team FYN Sports, we still kind of keep an eye out for teams that are in the region for the teams that we do cover. And like I said, Flowery Branch is undefeated at 3-0 and defeated Gainesville this past weekend, which is also known to be a very good team. So looking forward to how the Warriors and Falcons game shakes out. Now we're going to wrap it up with our White County Warriors football recap for today, and we're going to move on over into Dawson and Lumpkin counties. These two teams played each other in a great game on Friday night for the Tigers, coming out on top 45-0. Unfortunately, it wasn't such a great game for the Indians, but again, this is still early on in region play, so the Indians have plenty of time to get back on it. Lumpkin County was able to hold Dawson County to a field goal in their opening drive after Sean Thomas for the Tigers ran the opening kick return to the 21-yard line. Dawson County got on the board first with a 36-yard field goal by Caleb Bonesteel, who has been doing great as the Tigers kicker this season. The Tigers' Riley Herndon made a great play for Dawson County when he picked up a live ball after a punt return and ran it in for the first Tiger touchdown. I was standing right on the sideline when this happened, and the punt return was made and it landed, and there were a couple of players that just kind of looked at it, not really sure whether to touch it or not, and then Riley just picked it up and ran in for a touchdown. Everybody else was just kind of left standing there looking like, okay, what just happened? But the Tigers got on the board pretty early with a lead of 10-0. Troop Kane also made a great play for Dawson County, intercepting a pass to return possession for the Tigers. This would lead to a 9-yard touchdown pass from quarterback Zacchaeus Holtzclaw to Hunter Barron, and the Tigers went ahead 17-0. Isaiah Grindle scored 2 more rushing touchdowns back-to-back for Dawson County to extend their lead 31-0 shortly into the second quarter. The Tigers didn't slow down, extending their lead with another touchdown catch by Grindle, set up after a 40-yard pass from Holtzclaw to Dakota Sonitchin. Going into the half, the Tigers were up 38-0. The second half of the game was a running clock. Unfortunately for the Indians, they couldn't get anything going to score. Tucker Kane scored the final touchdown for the Tigers after catching a 36-yard pass from Keegan Stover. And shout out to Keegan because this was his first career pass attempt that led to a touchdown. The two teams swapped a couple of 3-and-outs, and then the Tigers quarterback Holtzclaw chose to kneel to run out the clock and, of course, put the Tigers on top 45-0. Now, even though the Indians were not able to score, I want to highlight some of the players who played hard and made some good plays. Bojack Dowdy led the rushing game with 44 yards over 12 carries, in addition to a 15-yard catch from quarterback Tucker Kirk. Kirk added 11 yards rushing over 5 carries, as well as completing 2 passes, one for 6 yards to Roy Bennett and another one for 15 yards to Dowdy, as I just mentioned. On defense, the Indians' Tanner Kirk led with 4 solo tackles. Ethan Klein, Jared Hoke, and Aaron Hopkins followed shortly behind with 3 tackles each. So even though the Indians weren't able to put anything on the board, there was still great effort. These guys are still out there every Friday night giving it all that they've got. So looking forward to both of these teams as they continue their region play. Now, speaking of which, the Indians are 1-4 so far going into their second bye week, so they have some time to rest up and also recuperate before hosting Cherokee Bluff for the second region game. The Tigers are 4-1 and will host East Hall this coming Friday at the Tiger Stadium. Now, also, I want to give a Player of the Week shout out to Brian Cunane for the Indians. He was my Player of the Week. Although he is usually in a receiver safety role, he stepped in as the punter, and therefore he controlled the starting field position for many of the Tigers' starting drives and did a great job making sure that on most of their drives they had to start deep within their own territory. He also had 2 solo tackles to add on to his awesome job as a punter. Now, for the Tigers, our sideline reporter Noah Rubin shows Isaiah Grindle 2 touchdowns with rushing yards of 11 and 34 yards for Grindle. Also, a 23-yard touchdown catch. Over 100 all-purpose yards for Isaiah Grindle for the Tigers, which earned him this Player of the Week nomination from our sideline reporter, Noah Rubin, who is also doing a great job. So you'll want to go check out his article. Same way I said with the White County articles that Carson does for us. Go to fetchyournews.com, click on White County or Dawson County or Lumpkin County, whichever county you're looking for. Then click on Team FYN Sports and you can find our game articles there. We have some great sideline reporters that do an awesome job every Friday night getting out there and giving these teams some awesome coverage. So definitely go and check out those articles whenever you get a chance. Now also, region standings, the Indians are in 5th place for the region and the Tigers are ranked 1st. So congratulations to them. They are on top right now and looking forward to how they continue to play hard and see if they can stay on top. Now, with that being said, we are going to go ahead and take our first break of the show. And when we come back, we will be continuing with our high school football coverage. And then we will also get into our Mountain Football League updates from week 4 and then go into volleyball and softball updates as well. So stick around with us. I'm your host, Lauren Hunter. You are watching Instant Replay.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LOJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, downdraft spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and LJ, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World.
Hi everyone, Dave Garner here. You might know me as a regular contributor to Team FYN Sports and the Instant Replay, but did you know I'm also your local Woodman Life representative? My job is to make sure that families are protected through needs-based life insurance and retirement. I want to make sure that you leave your loved ones with memories, not expenses. Call me today to find out how I can help you to not outlive your money and that your money outlives you. Woodman Life, standing strong for generations.
Good morning and welcome back, everyone, to Instant Replay, North Georgia's only live online sports show. I'm your host, Lauren Hunter, having a great time as always going over these football game recaps. And we have some awesome sideline reporters that give these guys great coverage, these hardworking athletes that deserve to have shout outs and highlights for all of the effort and hard work that they put in. So with that being said, we are going to get back to it, and we are starting things off with the biggest rivalry game possibly in North Georgia, definitely from this week here in Team FYN sports coverage. It's the Gilmer Bobcats Pickens Dragons game. Now, again, this is a huge rivalry that dates all the way back to the 50s of these two teams playing each other every year, and they alternate where they play as well. I mean, it is a huge rivalry here in the North Georgia area between these two neighboring counties. Now, also, with that being said, both teams came in this game with a record of 2-2. Pickens has dominated in the last couple of years, but it was a little bit more even playing field this past game. And so there was a lot of hype around this game. It was the first region game for these two teams, as it usually is each and every year. And they were kind of held back a little bit. They had to go through a 90-minute lightning delay, but after that got by, they were able to get to it. So starting off, Pickens scored first after converting several third downs. Jared Whitmore broke through with a 27-yard touchdown run. Gilmer was hampered by penalties and negative plays during their next drive, but pushed through. Spencer Smith connected with Gray McClure for a 67-yard touchdown. Pickens answered with another touchdown run by Whitmore for 51 yards. Now, I just want to make this comment, although you're going to hear it as I'm going through the game recap. This was a game that was neck and neck throughout pretty much the entire game. And then also, Gilmer was able to get the ball within the Dragons' 10-yard line before the first quarter expired. Ashton White punched it in from the 5-yard line, but the point attempt was no good, and Pickens led 14-3. Pickens went on a long drive to eat up the clock. It ended with a 15-yard touchdown pass from quarterback C.J. Stryker to Whitmore again. Pickens went ahead 21-13 with just over 3 minutes left in the half. The Bobcats took the kick return and drove to within field goal range. Adolfo Bautista's kick was good, and Gilmer trailed 21-16 at the half. The Dragons scored again coming out of the half after Stryker went it in from the 5-yard line. Pickens was ahead 28-16. Then Kobe Stonecipher ran it in for a 4-yard touchdown to shorten the Pickens lead 28-23. But this closed gap didn't last too long, because at the end of the third quarter, Whitmore scored his 4th touchdown of the game, punching it in from the 5-yard line. The point attempt was good, and Pickens went ahead 35-23. This was the final score of the game as the two teams battled for the remainder with a display of defensive strength. So great effort from both of these teams, even though Pickens is continuing their region streak, or their winning streak and region streak with this game. The Gilmer Bobcats have come a long way and are definitely improving with each game they go throughout this season. So also shout out to Gilmer for their great effort, and then of course shout out to Pickens for winning this game as well. Again, this was a tough rivalry game that was a battle from beginning to end, as these two teams, Gilmer wanting to get on top after years of being beaten, and then Pickens also wanting to defend their winning streak, and they were able to do so even though Gilmer was putting in great effort on the field. And definitely, as I've said with each of our articles, go and check these full game recaps out on our website, fetchernews.com. Click on Gilmer or Pickens, and then click on Team FYN Sports from there, and you'll be able to find all of these articles. Richie Stone for Gilmer and RJ Casey for Pickens do an awesome job for us on these sidelines, and they did an even better job this week covering this huge rivalry game that was also the opening region game for these two teams. Now, looking ahead, Gilmer is 2-3 and going into their second bye week this coming Friday. They will follow the bye week with a trip to Southeast Whitfield County in the following week, which will be October 4th. It'll be the following week after that, which will be October 11th. Meanwhile, Pickens is 3-2 and will be back home this Friday night, which is October 4th, hosting Southeast Whitfield County. And it's hard to believe that we're already, not only are we in week 6 of high school, or week 7, I believe actually it is, of high school football, we are also already in October. It's like, where has the time gone? It's hard to believe. Now, player of the week was Ashton White for the Gilmer Bobcats. Ashton scored a touchdown and played great on both sides of the ball, earning him this award. And then it was Jared Whitmore for the Pickens Dragons. Jared scored 4 touchdowns, scored from the 51, 27, and 5 yards out. He also caught a 23-yard touchdown pass from quarterback C.J. Stryker. So both of these awards were definitely well-deserved for these two hardworking athletes that put in effort both on and off the field. So congratulations to each of them for being awarded this nomination for this past week. Now in region standings, Pickens is 1-0 in the region and ranked 3rd. Gilmer is 0-1 and ranked 6th. But again, it is early on in region play, so it is only uphill from here for these two teams as they continue to battle and work hard, which we know is exactly what they are going to do as they continue their region play and go throughout the rest of the season. Now, also, before we go any further, I want to remind everyone of our sports shows that we do for these two teams. Gilmer Turf Talk will be tonight at 7 p.m. live on our Team FYN Sports Facebook page. We will be streaming that, broadcasting from Circuit World of LJ. You don't want to miss this show because Richie does an awesome job hosting, and he will have head coach Kevin Saunders and then possibly some players from the Gilmer football team there with him and probably some coaches as well. So you'll want to tune in for all things Gilmer Bobcats. And then tomorrow at 7 p.m. on FYNTV.com, we will be broadcasting live Pickens Power Half Hour or Dragon Talk. And Dave Garner will be back in hosting. He was out of town last week, so I filled in for him. But Dave will be back this coming week, and he will be there with head coach Jeff Nelson of the Pickens Dragons, and then also an assistant coach and players from the Pickens Dragons football team. So tune into these two shows. These hosts do an awesome job. Our producers do an awesome job. So you do not want to miss it, especially if you are a diehard Pickens Dragons or Gilmore Bobcats fans, because we talk all sorts of football with these coaches and with these players as well. So that is going to wrap it up from our rivalry game of the week. For sure, the Pickens Dragons and the Gilmer Bobcats. And we're going to move on over into Blue Ridge, into Fannin County. The Fannin County Rebels had a bye week this past week, coming off of a big win against the Chestatee War Eagles, where they were able to prevail after falling short to the War Eagles last season. This coming Friday, the Rebels will open their region season against Cherokee Bluff and Flowery Branch. Kickoff is scheduled for 7:30 p.m. And again, this is going to be an exciting game because it will be the region opener for the Rebels. The Rebels are 3-1 so far this season, so we're excited to see more of them get out there and play as they open their region play for this season. And our sideline reporter, Reagan Young, will be there. She does a great job bringing us sideline coverage and pictures like the one you're seeing on the screen now. So definitely stay tuned with us for these updates. And that reminds me, Lonnie, I did not come back with social media like I normally do. I want to give a shout out to that real quick. And if you don't have the card ready, that's fine. I'll just say it. But there we go. Lonnie is on it. Thank you, Lonnie. So follow us on social media to get updates about all of these games and all of our coverage here at Team FYN Sports. Facebook is where we are broadcasting this show live right now. So if you're already watching this show, then you're already on our Facebook page. And as I like to say, if you're here, you might as well go ahead and give it a like. It is at Team FYN Sports. And then if you are watching this show later on, more than likely you found it from our YouTube channel. That is FYN TV, Fetch Your News. Subscribe to that to get notifications for all of the coaches' interviews, game highlights, anything that we post on there. If you subscribe, you'll get a notification about it. And then also on Twitter and Instagram, it is at Team FYN Sports. We post score updates throughout the game on our Twitter page, so follow us for more updates about that. And then I always like to say, if you have maybe a favorite athlete or you want to give your favorite team a shout out, shoot us an email there. It is teamfynsports@fetchyournews.com. All of those emails go to me, so I see them all, and you never know, you may even get a shout out here on the show as well. So follow us on all those social media to stay up to date with all things Team FYN Sports, where we are always highlighting and promoting young athletes in a positive way. Now we are going to continue on with our football game recaps, and we are over in Blairsville now, or actually we are over where they played on Friday night against the Putnam County Eagles. And the Panthers are continuing to dominate this season, and they did that this past weekend with a 74-57 win over the Putnam County War Eagles. It was their second region game of the season as well, so they are now 5-0 on the season and 2-0 in the region. Now, some interesting facts about this game. This is the most points Union County has given up this season, but is also the most they've scored in a single game since head coach Brian Allison stepped in. The Panthers also scored on 11 of their 14 drives, so this was a phenomenal game for them. And you're going to hear how even more phenomenal it was for individual athletes as we're going through some of these stats. Senior quarterback Pearson Allison put up 8 touchdowns overall. He was 22 for 35 with 368 yards passing and 6 touchdowns. His other 2 scores covered 54 yards rushing. And then also for junior Jonah Daniel added 3 touchdowns with 239 yards rushing over 22 carries. Senior wideout Sawyer Drake caught 3 touchdowns with 9 catches overall for 146 yards. And senior Kyle Morlock caught 6 passes for 161 yards and 2 touchdowns. The defense deserves praise for their efforts as well. Caston Hemphill caught 2 interceptions, and Clayton Lester picked off a pass and recovered a fumble for the Panthers as well. Senior John Mancuso accounted for more than a dozen tackles. So this was a great display of offensive strength for the Panthers, but was also an awesome display of defensive strength for them as well, with all of the stops they had and all of the stats that you heard me read just now. The Panthers defense managed to force punts on Putnam's 3rd and 7th drives as well. So they were in there playing hard the entire game despite the lead they took early on. So congratulations to these guys for another amazing performance. The Panthers, like I said, are continuing to dominate not only in their season where they are undefeated 5-0, but also in their region play where they are 2-0 after defeating the Monticello Hurricanes and now the Putnam County War Eagles. So looking ahead, as I just mentioned, Union County is still undefeated at 5-0 overall. They will host region opponent Elbert County this Friday night, October 4th. Now, our player of the week that James Wolf, our sideline reporter for the Panthers, selected is Sawyer Drake. His game performance was mentioned earlier. He stepped up on crucial downs, and with this game, he improved to an overall 27 catches, 450 yards, and 6 touchdowns over the course of this season. So Sawyer is definitely in there playing an amazing season so far for the Panthers, and I'm certain that he's only going to continue to do better. He is also the team leader in receptions and tied for the most touchdown catches. So again, an overall amazing athlete who is each week going out and putting up great numbers for the Panthers, really standing out as a leader both on and off the field, no doubt. Now, in region standings, the Panthers are 2-0 in the region. They are tied for first place. It is a 4-way tie with Elbert County, Banks County, and Rabun County. So as the season progresses, obviously these two teams will separate, and the Panthers are hosting region opponent Elbert County this weekend, and that is one of the teams that they are tied with for first place. So definitely we are excited to see how this game shakes out and to see who ends up on top and where those region standings are on Monday morning come after the region game Friday night. Now, before we wrap up this segment and go into our second break, I want to remind everyone about Panther Playback, which will happen tonight at 6 p.m. on Team FYN Sports Facebook page. We'll be broadcasting live from the Circuit World of Blairsville, where we will have head coach Brian Allison of the Union County Panthers and then several players from the football team as well. And we will be talking about all things Panthers football. So Panthers fans, tune in with us. I will be hosting, and I do my best with the show. I hope that you all like it. I'm learning, and I'm trying my best each week to improve. So definitely tune in with us for this tonight at 6 p.m. on our Team F1 Sports Facebook page, where we will be live. And when we come back, we will be finishing up our high school football game recaps with the Murphy Bulldogs and Andrew Wildcats game. We're going to be moving over into Western North Carolina with the Smoky Mountain Conference. So stick around with us, and then we will also be going through our softball and then finally our volleyball game recaps, as well as some Mountain Football League updates sprinkled in as well. So stay with us. I'm your host, Lauren Hunter. You're watching Instant Replay.
Deli workers, pharmacists, and florists. We work hard every day to bring you the very best, and we'll continue to wake up every morning and work as hard as you do. This is our town, and we built this community together. Ingalls, your neighbor for over 50 years.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Year-end clearance is on at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, and that means our biggest savings of the entire year are right now. Like over $13,000 off new Silverado crew cabs, or more than $7,000 off new Chevy Colorados. Every 2019 Chevy model has our deepest discounts of the year. So save big right now during the year-end clearance at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where new Chevys always cost less.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
I'm Jeff Riblick, President of Asset Protection Group. As a certified financial planner and with 20 years experience, I've helped thousands of families and business owners create a tremendous amount of wealth. Fortunately, most of that wealth has been protected. Don't allow an unforeseen life event, such as a nursing home stay or the next market meltdown, destroy your family's wealth. Be smart. Call me. Let's determine how best to protect your assets and preserve your wealth.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LOJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair, and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on-site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and LJ, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN 10 for your special deal today at Circuit World.
Hi everyone, Dave Garner here. You might know me as a regular contributor to Team FYN Sports and the Instant Replay, but did you know I'm also your local Woodman Life representative? My job is to make sure that families are protected through needs-based life insurance and retirement. I want to make sure that you leave your loved ones with memories, not expenses. Call me today to find out how I can help you to not outlive your money and that your money outlives you. Woodman Life, standing strong for generations.
Good Monday morning, everyone, and welcome back to Instant Replay, North Georgia's only live online sports show. I'm your host, Lauren Hunter, and this entire show so far, we've been going through high school game recaps from the football games over the weekend, and we left off with the Union County Panthers triumphing over the Putnam County War Eagles, and now we're going to wrap it up with the Murphy Bulldogs and Andrews Wildcats football game up in western North Carolina. So the Bulldogs hunkered down and came out on top for the Smoky Mountain Conference play opener. Now both teams are in the Smoky Mountain Conference in western North Carolina, and this was each of their season region openers. Now the Dogs bit first with a 50-yard touchdown pass from quarterback Kellen Rumfelt to Abe Abling. Murphy scored again on a 19-yard touchdown run by Justice Dorsey. Dorsey would go on to score again with about 7 minutes left in the half. This one a 13-yard carry. Quarterback Tucker Holloway for the Wildcats would score the first and only touchdown for them, capping off a long drive with a 1-yard carry to run it in and get them on the board. Just before the half, Devontae Murray scored for the Dogs with a 14-yard carry. The Dogs went into the break leading 28-7. Murray scored his second touchdown of the night late in the third quarter with another carry, this time for 14 yards. This was the final score of the game at 35-7. The Wildcats were able to hold the Bulldogs for the rest of the game, so they did an awesome job there with some defense there at the very end. Now, just to share some stats really quick, I know that was a brief game recap. Devontae Murray for the Bulldogs rushed for 200 yards over 18 carries and scored 2 touchdowns. Justice Dorsey scored 2 more touchdowns on top of that for the Bulldogs. Quarterback Kellen Rumfelt for the Bulldogs went 6 for 11 for 125 yards and a touchdown. Receiver Abe Abling caught 3 passes for 83 yards and a touchdown as well. For the Wildcats, quarterback Tucker Holloway went 1 for 3 on passes with 10 yards. He went further with carries with 13 carries for 79 yards and a touchdown. Running back Landon White also pulled in 68 yards over 18 carries. So great effort for both of these two teams. Now, if any of y'all, and we'll get a little bit, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but if anybody has tuned in to our NC Sports Report, Smoky Mountain Conference Report on Thursday nights yet, you know that we have 2 hosts on there. We have J.R. Carroll, who's the voice of the Murphy Bulldogs, and we have Scott Fletcher, who is the voice of the Andrews Wildcats. And these two, this past week, we have our shows on Thursdays. We're just jabbing at each other pretty much the entire show about who was going to come out on top and who was, if Murphy being as great as they are, if Andrews could topple that, and they were just, and I'll share a little bit more about that as we get towards talking about the show at the end of this segment. But going over this game recap just made me think of that. And these two guys, they do an awesome job, and they were just, nagging at each other the entire time. But anyway, looking ahead, the Bulldogs are 5-1 so far this season. They are open this coming Friday before hosting conference member Hayesville. Now, I also want to say head coach David Gentry of the Murphy Bulldogs going into the season was only 6 wins away from tying with the most wins in North Carolina high school football history. So the most wins overall is 412 so far. He was 6 wins away from tying with that, and he needed 7 to beat it. Well, now with this record of 5-1, he is only 1 win away from tying that with that record and 2 wins away from getting the most, and he will have 413 when he does that. So we want to give him a shout out here. He's been doing an awesome job with the Murphy Bulldogs for many, many years, and we are excited for him as he gets closer to breaking this record and becoming the winningest high school football coach in North Carolina history. Now, also on the Wildcat side, they are 2-3 going into another conference game against Swain County this Friday night. Now, Swain County is what they call one of the big 3 in the Smoky Mountain Conference, so this will be a tough game for the Wildcats, and we are excited to see how this game shakes out. Now, for the players of the week, Abe Abling was chosen by JR for the Bulldogs, and Landon White was chosen by Scott for the Wildcats. Abling caught 3 passes for 83 yards and the Bulldogs' first touchdown on Friday night. He was also the preferred receiver, as JR put it, for quarterback Kellen Rumfelt. White has been playing well consistently all season for the Wildcats, and this past Friday night he carried 18 times for 68 yards. His best game so far was against the North Georgia Falcons with 172 yards over 24 carries with 2 touchdowns. So congratulations to both of these guys. Definitely awards that are well deserved for all of the hard effort that they have been putting in on the field. Now in region standings, just to give you an update, we are very, very early in region play, but just to kind of give you a brief update, the Dogs are 1-0 in conference play, and the Cats are 0-1, obviously. Murphy is ranked 3rd in the conference, while Andrews is ranked just below them at 4th. So these two teams are still neck and neck in region standings. So excited to see again how it shakes out for the rest of the season for these two great teams. Now, I mentioned this a little bit ago. NC Sports Report, Smoky Mountain Conference Report is every Thursday night at 8 p.m. It's the same time, same place this Thursday night, 8 p.m., broadcasting live on our Team FYN Sports Facebook page. We'll be broadcasting from the Circuit World of Murphy. And we have two awesome football gurus, I guess you could call them, Scott Fletcher for the Andrews Wildcats and J.R. Carroll for the Murphy Bulldogs. They do a phenomenal job. They have a great time getting on there. They have coaches every week. They have coaches stop in. They have coaches call in because it is a call-in show. And so definitely, if you are a fan of the Smoky Mountain Conference, tune into this show on Thursday nights because you have the opportunity to call in as well and voice your opinion on the Smoky Mountain Conference and how the teams are doing in that area for the season so far. And again, these guys, they nag on each other. They were doing it this past week with Murphy and Andrews playing this past weekend, and they had a little bit of a friendly wager, and I don't want to spoil it too much, but let's just say it's kind of like the headgear alert that they do every Saturday for SEC Nation. So tune in on Thursday night at 8 p.m. on our Facebook page for more information on that and to see exactly what I'm talking about. Again, these two guys do a great job, and I usually I open the show with them, and then I close the show with them. We go over their picks for the week within the Smoky Mountain Conference, and we just have a great, we have a great time. So anyway, with that being said, that is going to wrap up our high school football game recaps for this week. Now, we're going to not completely leave off of football yet because every week I like to give a little bit of an update of what's going on over in the Mountain Football League. And the Mountain Football League is in week 4 of play. Now, the Mountain Football League, for those of you who maybe are tuning in for the first time and aren't super familiar with it, it is a group of, I believe they have about a dozen or so teams from the area park and rec departments. Actually, I think it's 10 to be exact. They all come together and they play each other and within the Mountain Football League throughout the season. And they are in a week 4 of play for this past week. And I want to go over who won in each age group. They go from ages 6U to 11U. And I would like to go through and give a shout out to all the teams that won this past week. So starting this off with our 6U group, Chestatee, White County, Fannin County, and Lumpkin County all won their games. So shout out to these guys with their first year playing football, or maybe their second year. Some of these guys are a little bit younger when they first start out, so it could be their second year as well. And then in the 7U group, Chestatee, White County, and East Hall won their games. In 8U, Gilmer and White County won. In 9U, Dawson County, Union County, Gilmer, and White counties came out on top. In 10U, Gilmer and White County won, which was the same as the 8U, ironically. And then in 11U, we had Lumpkin County, Pickens, and Fannin County win their games as well. So congratulations to each of these teams for coming out with a win this weekend. And of course, as we go through each week, we will be giving updates about who wins. And as we can get it, even some standings for them as they get closer and closer to the Super Bowl on November 9th at White County High School. And Team FYN Sports will be broadcasting that event live just as we did last year with the Super Bowl. So definitely stay tuned for updates with us as well for what we will be doing with that Super Bowl championship for the Mountain Football League. Now, before we go into our next break, mentioning social media, Lonnie, if you want to go ahead and put up that card for us, I'll go ahead and give a shout out to our social media. If you're on this page right now, you're on our Facebook page. It is Team FYN Sports. This is where we post the majority of our updates. So definitely go and give us a like there so you can stay up to date with everything that we are posting. And then also we have social media platforms on Twitter and Instagram. We like to keep it consistent here. It is at Team FYN Sports on both platforms. Then also on YouTube, we upload this show after we get done broadcasting live to our YouTube channel. It is FYN TV, Fetch Your News. You can subscribe to that as well to get updates for everything that we post on there. We post post-game coaches interviews from each football game on there as well. And then also, I always like to say, if you have a favorite athlete or a team you want to give a shout out to, you can shoot us an email there. It is teamfynsports@fetchyournews.com, or you can even give us a call at that number right there, although email is preferred because I see all of those emails and it's easier for me to keep track of what I'm getting. So thank you again, everyone. I just want to say for tuning in with us this morning for this week's episode of Instant Replay. We're going to go ahead and take our next break, and when we come back, we will be wrapping the show up with updates about softball and volleyball, and they are wrapping up their regular season. So for those updates that we do have about region tournaments, we will share those as well with you. Thank you again for joining us here on Instant Replay, North Georgia's only live online sports show. Team FYN Sports, always highlighting and promoting young athletes in a positive way. I'm your host, Lauren Hunter.
At Ingalls, we have a very special family. A family of farmers, ranchers, and dairymen. Clerks, butchers, and bakers. Deli workers, pharmacists, and florists. We work hard every day to bring you the very best. And we'll continue to wake up every morning and work as hard as you do. This is our town, and we built this community together. Ingalls, your neighbor for over 50 years.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
The year-end clearance is on at Day Chevrolet in Jasper, and that means our biggest savings of the entire year are right now. Like over $13,000 off new Silverado crew cabs, or more than $7,000 off new Chevy Colorados. Every 2019 Chevy model has our deepest discounts of the year, so save big right now during the year-end clearance at Day Chevrolet in Jasper, where new Chevys always cost less.
Better days ahead, Day Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
I'm Jeff Riblett, President of Asset Protection Group. As a certified financial planner and with 20 years experience, I've helped thousands of families and business owners create a tremendous amount of wealth. Fortunately, most of that wealth has been protected. Don't allow an unforeseen life event, such as a nursing home stay or the next market meltdown, destroy your family's wealth. Be smart. Call me. Let's determine how best to protect your assets and preserve your wealth.
All right, everyone, we are back. You are watching Instant Replay, North Georgia's only live online sports show. I'm your host, Lauren Hunter. Been going through some football game recaps and some Mountain Football League. Well, I guess it's just all football, isn't it? But we've been going through high school football game recaps as well as Mountain Football League game recaps as well. But we're going to finish it off with softball and volleyball because we can't leave without giving these ladies some shout outs. Kicking it off with White County, the White County softball team went 2-1 this past week with losses to Marist, but a win against Dawson County. Now, I want to give everyone a little tip that we are officially wrapping up the regular season for softball and volleyball here at Team FYN Sports. But I want to remind everyone that we will be giving out region updates for region tournaments and whatnot as we get that information. Unfortunately, we don't have any for that right now for White County, but as we get that, we will be sure to get reporters out there best we can and then also give you all updates the best we can. Now, over in Dawson County, the Tigers of the Dawson County softball team also went 2-1 this past week. They fell short against Denmark and White County, but defeated Fannin County. So congratulations to these ladies for all of their hard work. Now, in Lumpkin County, the Lady Indians won both of their games this past week against region opponents North Hall and Fannin County. Now, I do know that these ladies are going into their region tournament this Wednesday, but I'm not exactly sure where or when. So be on the lookout for updates about that, and I will do my best to go and cover these ladies because they do awesome, and I've just really enjoyed covering them this season. Now, in Gilmer, the Bobcats softball team split their record 1-1 this past week. They fell to Heritage by a point, but bounced back to defeat Southeast Whitfield County. Moving on into Pickens, the Lady Dragonettes defeated Ridgeland 12-3 this past week to celebrate their senior night. So that's awesome to get a win on your senior night. Unfortunately, they fell 4-0 to Northwest Whitfield. We do have tournament updates for the Lady Nets. They face Gilmer in a doubleheader today at Gilmer. So good luck to the Lady Nets as they continue on and go into their region tournament. So I guess that means that also for Gilmer it would be the same. They have the doubleheader tonight against Pickens. So good luck to the Gilmer Bobcats as well, their softball team. Over in Fannin County, the Lady Rebels unfortunately fell in both of their games this past week against Dawson County and Lumpkin County. And then to wrap up softball with the Union Panthers, they lost their first game of the week last week to East Hall, but they bounced back to win 2 games against Oglethorpe County. And then we also have a tournament update about Union County, which is that they will be facing off against Rabun County this Wednesday at Rabun. So best of luck to the Panthers softball team. And I love that picture right there that James got of them. So do our best to go and cover these ladies as best as we can. They are playing hard and doing awesome. And we want to just say congratulations and good luck to them as they wrap up their season. Now we're going to finish off the show with updates from volleyball teams in the area. And starting off with White County, the White County volleyball team went 3-1 this past week. They fell in games to Denmark, Blessed Trinity, and Oconee County, but triumphed over East Jackson. Now, same with softball. We know that with volleyball, we know that they are wrapping up their regular season and are going into tournament games and region championships. So stay with us. Stick around to see if we have any updates on that as we go throughout the week. And as we get those updates, we will do the best to keep y'all in the loop as well because these hardworking ladies definitely deserve the shout outs. Now, over in Dawson County, the Tigers volleyball team went 2-1 this past week, falling in games to North Hall and Winder Barrow, but winning against Jackson County. So congratulations to them. In Lumpkin County, the Indians volleyball team started last week off with a win, but unfortunately fell short in their second game against Fly Branch. So I'm sure they will be looking to bounce back as they go on into their postseason. In Gilmer, the Gilmer volleyball team split their week 2-2 with losses against Heritage and Northwest Whitfield County, but winning against Pickens and Fannin County. So congratulations to these ladies. Now in Pickens, the Pickens High School volleyball team fell to both Fannin and Gilmer last week. This coming week, they'll be looking for a win against Heritage and Lafayette. So good luck to them as well as they go on into region championship play or tournament play. Now finally, over in Fannin, the Rebels volleyball team also split their record 2-2 this week with wins against Cherokee Bluff and Pickens. They fell in region games to Madison County and Gilmer, unfortunately, but they will be looking for a win as they go into postseason, no doubt. Now, I do want to make a correction just now. I accidentally had typed that Madison County was a region game. They are not a region game. Actually, neither of these games are region games, so excuse my mistake there. Now, finally in Union, we'll wrap wrap up volleyball with the Union County Panthers. The volleyball team went on a 3-win streak to start their week off last week. They won against Oglethorpe County, Washington Wilkes, and Putnam County. And then also they unfortunately lost to Rabun County to finish off the week. But they were on a great winning streak there against Oglethorpe, Washington Wilkes, and Putnam County. So congratulations to these ladies for all of the hard work that they have been putting in. So that is going to wrap it up for our volleyball and softball updates for today. Again, congratulations to these ladies for all the hard work they've been putting in this past week and then, of course, over the course of the season. And we are excited, hopefully, to get out and cover some of these games as they go on into region tournament play. So definitely best of luck to them. And we are always highlighting and promoting young athletes in a positive way here. So always looking forward to doing this here on the show. We have a great time here. Lonnie and I do. So thank you all for sticking around with us today and for hanging out with us as we talked about sports for a little bit. We're out of time, unfortunately. Otherwise, we would go into some Braves updates. And obviously, the Georgia Bulldogs had an open week this past week. So not a whole lot to talk about there. But this coming week, it is Georgia-Tennessee, one of the best games in the season, in my opinion, because I really do not like Tennessee, as I am a true Georgia fan. But anyway, that is a topic for another time. Thank you for joining us again today on Instant Replay, North Georgia's only live online sports show. Follow us on social media for updates throughout the week. I'm your host, Lauren Hunter. Have a great Monday, everyone, and have a great rest of your week as well.